What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another stream. Actually, our second stream of the day. Coming back for a power hour stream. Going to do a small recap on SPY. But since I did not trade SPY this morning, we were doing our stock stream. We're going to actually do something a little differently today. I'm going to try to use the replay function here on TradingView. I actually didn't test it off stream. I probably should have. To see if it will work with volume profile. And if it does, I'm going to try to go candle by candle and show you kind of how you could have read the price action. But if the replay function doesn't work, we're just going to do what we can, and we're going to use the fixed range volume profile. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how you could have traded that. Let's see if this replay function works. Let me leave this on. Let's go to replay here. It actually does look like it's working. Here, let me zoom in. So I'm going to let it go until 10 o'clock. That's usually when I start doing analysis. What time is it now? So we need to get to right here. Okay, so here's 10 o'clock. That's actually awesome that the volume profile is working. Let me make sure that this is accurate. Let me grab fixed range here. Yeah, that's accurate. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's interesting. Hey, Turnup, what's going on, man? Welcome back. Appreciate that 15-month resub. One of our last remaining subs. Appreciate you sticking around, man. I think we only have like 15 subs left, and it's all you guys who have like 1 year, 2 years, close to 2 years. You guys are awesome, man. You guys have been supporting for a long time. I do appreciate that. Let me see if my button works here. Oh my god, is my Twitch chat's not working again, guys. 1 second. Why is it doing that? Give me 1 second, guys. Don't type in chat. Don't type in chat. Let me restart my chat here. Then hopefully it will work. Giving me an error. Give me 1 second, guys. That's still not working. Alright, I'm gonna do this. Alright, guys, if you guys made any... Let me close this. If you guys posted any messages in chat, go ahead and repost them. I missed all the messages. I do apologize. We should be good to go now. Moneybag, I did see your message right before I closed it. You said Uber bounced off of... Is it going to be doing my replay? No, okay, so the replay is good. You said Uber bounced off the 1 hour bull div. When did we call that out? We called that out around lunchtime? Yeah. Very nice bounce down there. Bounced up to about $28. Hey, Turn Up, what's going on? He said pretty boring markets today. DXY looking very interesting despite the burring at the Fed. The Fed is not actually pumping that much money into the market anymore. They've kind of stopped. Yeah, let me go back to the SPY here. Okay, so I can't change my ticker when I'm doing the replay. So let's start doing the SPY thing, and then I'll take a look at I will take a look at the market afterwards. It won't let me change my tickers when we're doing this. So we're going to let this thing run until like 10 o'clock. This is actually awesome. I'm really happy this works, because this will make it a lot easier for my recaps. Okay, so here's 10 o'clock. So a couple things to note here. Make sure my chat's all good. Okay, everything's good. Couple things to note here are the major gap right here, POC, the value area low, and the value area high is not really important here. So you have a major gap, you have the value area low, and you have your POC, okay? So if you're looking along this, you can have, the only really long signal you would have is the point of origin here, or maybe yesterday's low. So like yesterday's low would be like either here, or you could grab the candle low. So between these two levels. So you have a little bit of support between these two levels. And then your target would be the gap or the value area low or the POC. Okay, that's basically it. There are no there's no other signals here. Unless you have like some kind of bull div on the indicators, or maybe the OTS flipping and turning green. Besides that, nothing. Okay, so let's start playing it. Okay, so here's the test of low of day. Let's slow it down a little bit. Okay, so now that you're bouncing off kind of the low of day of yesterday, you could take this long. It's a little risky. I'd probably wait for a regain of this level, or for the OTS to turn green. But if you did take this long, you would still be keeping an eye on your value area low, that major gap there, and the POC, okay? So that's why that long would have been risky. You'd already be losing. So you probably would have got stopped out if you longed there. Like I said, there's really no long until you get confirmation. Okay, now that you're starting to regain yesterday's low, this is giving you kind of a long signal here. So you have a little bit of a long signal. You are getting some volume down here, so your value area has shifted. So you can no longer target the value area low. You can only target that gap, and then maybe like VWAP, okay? Hey, Sneaky. He said, when we know Bitcoin decoupled from equities, because damn, Bitcoin's been leading. I don't think Bitcoin's leading the equities market. I think it's definitely coupled with equities, but I definitely wouldn't say it's leading. But all right, let's see. So this is regaining POC. It's regaining the low. So you're starting to get some support here on the POC. That's good. Like I said, same thing. You'd be targeting the gap, targeting VWAP. Okay, there's your VWAP test. You're still going for the gap. Now the gap is starting to fill in. You still have a little bit of a gap here. Your POC is starting to rise. Okay, now you're starting to flip red a little bit, but now you're flipping back. So right there, that one little red candle would have scared you a little bit if you ran a long. But as long as you're holding these supports down here, you're looking good. You are still gaining some volume on the POC. You still have a gap here in the value area high. So you have the value area high, which would be right around 287.35, and then you have a gap around 287.67. Okay, those are your two targets if you're still in a long. You are starting to get a little choppy here, though. Okay, there's the gap. The gap's hit. Both gaps are hit, so you have that gap being hit here, and then you had a gap right here being hit. Okay, so now you're outside the value area. So you want to watch for a couple things here. You want to watch for either a retest of the daily open. You see the daily open above us. A retest of the high of day. Those are your two levels above you. Okay, And for a short, you want to look for a failure of the value area high. So make sure you pay attention to the value area high to see if it's shifting. And then if you reclaim that value area high towards the downside, you would be looking for a short, okay? And you would be shorting down towards VWAP and POC. Okay, so let's keep an eye on it. Okay, so keep an eye on it here. It's starting to lose the value area high. Okay, so here, this is where you lost your value area high. So you can take this as a level. We'll keep an eye on it. It might get a little choppy. But if it does fail the value area high, you also have like a point of origin here. You're targeting VWAP and POC. Okay, let's keep an eye on it. Okay, there's your point of origin being tested. Point of origin being retested. Value area high still holding. There's VWAP. Keep an eye on it here. It could retrace a little bit. You have a couple of little liquidity levels here and here. You also have a small gap above you, but you're still aiming for that POC. And then if you really start to fail, the value area low. So if you're in a short, those are the levels you're looking for. But you want to be careful if it starts to bounce off of VWAP. Let's keep an eye on it. Okay, it's starting to bounce off VWAP here, so you want to pay attention to the value area high and this point of origin. So you have a point of origin here, which lines up almost perfectly with the value area high. So those are your resistances ahead, and you also still have the daily open. So let's keep an eye on it. You also have the value. All right, went over that value area high, daily open. Keep an eye on it. So here comes your POC as your secondary bearish target. There's the POC. Now you're starting to bounce. So this is where you want to start paying attention to price action if you're looking to enter in a long, right? You're still kind of balanced on the day. So your trading strategy for a balanced day should be buying the lows, selling the highs. If you bought here, you'd be buying more of the POC, which is basically like the mid. So you could buy the mid, but it's not as good as buying the low, right? So if you're still in a short, you should have definitely taken some profit. You already hit your VWAP. You already hit your POC. The only profit targets really remaining would be like the gap here and then maybe the value area low. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. So if you guys are just coming in, I'm doing the replay function because we did not trade the morning session today. So I don't have any like live examples or screenshots or anything. So we're just doing a replay to show you kind of how you could have traded it. Okay, so we're still watching these two supports. These are your resistances ahead. Okay. Okay, there is your next target. That is that gap. Now keep an eye on that value area low. Okay, so here, if you were targeting the value area low, you might want to just go ahead and take profit because you're failing to lose that gap. So that gap has been filled in. You do have a lot of support below price here with that high volume node. You also have a pretty nice Morningstar 3 candlestick pattern here. If you were still aiming for that value area low, you might want to take profit. So I still wouldn't really be longing this. You could long, like I said, because you're still in a balanced profile. You could look for a buy the low, sell the high. Problem is POC is right above you, so is VWAP. If you did long here, a better long would have been this lower section because your stop loss is going to be below your value area, right? So your value area low is here. So wherever you long the bottom, you want to look for a stop loss outside the value area. Okay. So there you go. You're retesting POC. You're turning green on the OTS. So if you start to see some buy pressure here, if you wanted to long, you could. It's a little risky. Not a lot of confirmation, but you are seeing the red to green flip on the OTS. Now you're back to red, so that's why it would have been really risky there. Retesting VWAP. So if you did start to buy a flip of VWAP, this would be a little early. But if you did start to buy a flip of VWAP, you're targeting the point of origin and the value area high, which is right below the point of origin, like right there. See, still failing VWAP. There's your value area low test. Okay, so if you wanted to long, this is where your high probability longs are starting to come in. So if you're waiting for like the right trade, the really high probability trade, this outside the value area, this would be a nice trade. It is a little scary longing the low of the day, or like the pretty close to the low of the day, but because your profile is so balanced, the auction theory is telling you to long. Okay, so this whole little area between the point of origin and the value area low, this little area here is a high probability long. So let's keep an eye on it. And there you go. So like if you would have longed the value area low there, your value area has already shifted, but that value area low was right there on that level. So if you would have longed that level there, you would already be profitable. So if you did long that level, you're looking for a couple of levels. You have the gap right here, a very small gap, which you're currently testing. You have the POC and you have VWAP. So these are your two main targets. And then if you want to have a longer target, you're looking for that value area high right here, and you're looking for that point of origin that has not been tested. Okay, so keep an eye on all these levels. Your first target is already hit, that little gap. You're starting to come back towards your entry. There's your second target, POC. You're still green. Now you're starting to pull back a little bit. There you go, you're green again. Still's not testing VWAP just yet. It's finding a lot of resistance on VWAP and POC. There's your VWAP, so there's your second target. Or sorry, your third target. So first target gap, second target POC, third target VWAP. All three of your targets are hit. The only targets that you would have remaining are the value area high and your point of origin. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. So you don't really want to take any trades right here, because if you're on a very balanced day, you're trading the middle of the range. It's like a 50-50. It's not very high probability, okay? So if the only time I would take trades like this, like if you were taking this bounce off the POC or the bounce off of VWAP, is if I'm already positive on the day, I already have a little bit of a cushion to play with. You can take some trades off to like the mid-range, right? But if you're negative on the day, or you're not even starting on the day, like if you're still waiting for your first trade, you don't want your first trade to be a mid-range trade. Okay, so let's keep an eye on it here. You got very close to the value area high here, hasn't tested it just yet. You're kind of front running it. So right here, this would have been a little sketchy because you got very close to the value area high and then you failed downward. So if you were still holding any contracts here, or if you were holding your long, I probably would have let go of my long when you broke down here and you let go of your green on the OTS. So the OTS, you can see it's green on the way up. You have that nice uptrend, and then you lose your green when you lose that uptrend. Okay, so I probably would have let go of my long once we lost that green on the OTS. So let's keep an eye on it here. So now we're entering, basically this entire session here would have been lunchtime. So if you don't trade lunchtime, you would not have traded any of this, which would have sucked because you would have, actually no, this was right before lunchtime. So you would have longed right before lunchtime, and then you would have just been looking to close your long. You would not have taken a short if you were not trading lunchtime. Okay. So now you're basically just waiting for a retest of the value area low or the value area high as your entries. Okay. And let me clean up some of these levels. We don't need this gap anymore. It's no longer a gap. Point of origin is okay. Everything else is okay. So here's where you're starting to get towards your territory of looking for a short, okay? Because you're a very, very balanced day here. You do have a little bit more volume above the high here, so you probably would be looking more for like this range to short, looking for this upper volume node, this resistance here, instead of shorting directly on the value area high. But it depends on how risky you want to be here. If you wanted to short like the immediate trade on the value area high, you could do that. It doesn't give you very much of a target. If you wanted to wait for more of a high probability trade, you would look for more of that point of origin around that volume node here. Okay, so let's see which trade would have played off or paid off. So there you go. You would have got a little bit of a test of this point of origin. It's a little bit lower of a point of origin, but you would have tested that volume node. So that gave you a decent short there. Let's see if it keeps going. Okay, so it doesn't keep going. It doesn't go up there. So if you did not take that short on that point of origin right here, on that volume node, you would have missed your short. So if you were going for the higher trade on the point of origin, you would have missed your short there. But if you did take that short on the value area high or that point of origin, you would have been okay. You would have gotten a short here, and then you would have already hit your first two targets. So your only target remaining would be this value area low. Very, very close. Has not hit it yet. This is where you start to get a little sketchy. So if you're still holding your short, you see that V reversal very close to the value area low. Once you reclaim the POC and you turn green on the OTS, you probably would be looking to close most of your position. So if you're still holding a big chunk of your position, you probably would have wanted to take profit there. And that's still a pretty good profit. You're still below your first couple of targets, or at least in between them. So that is a decent profit there. If you are holding, you're still watching for that value area low. Okay, so let's keep an eye on it. Hopefully this is helping you guys. I know we didn't have any. Hey, Keytoy Bitmass, what's going on, guys? I know I didn't have any live examples from today's Discord. I do apologize, but hopefully this is still helping you out a little bit. I know it's a lot slower doing it this way, but it's still helpful. So there's the failure of VWAP. There you got your target. So if you would have closed here, which still would have been a good close, you would have closed a little early because of VWAP failure. That still would have been a good close, though. I wouldn't beat yourself up about that if you closed on the retrace here, because that's still a decent close. But you would have got your final target there on the value area low, and that's where you would have started to look to take a long. So between that value area low and that point of origin, this is that high probability long trade. So anything in this zone gives you a high probability long. Because your profile is almost picture perfect balanced. So a balanced profile tells you to buy the lows, sell the highs. Until otherwise, right? Let's keep going here. So if you did buy the value area low right on the level, you would have already got your two targets. You would have got your POC, you would have got your VWAP. The only other target remaining is the value area high. Very, very simple trading on the balanced profile day. You're just range trading, basically. Oh, I think we caught up. Okay, so we just caught up to live. So let's get rid of the replay here. So now that we're caught up to live, you would either be still holding a long or you'd be flat. You would have longed the value area low, taken profit on the POC, taken profit on the VWAP. Your only remaining target is the value area high, and then maybe the point of origin if you want to be a little risky. Besides that, you should not be in a short. Now, sadly, on days like this, if you see a major breakout to like the upside or the downside, you're going to miss out on that move unless you like shift biases right away, because these days you're really only focusing on buying the lows and selling the highs. So like if this started to really fail downward here, you would miss out on that short because you would be looking along the bottom. That's where that other percentage comes in, right? So if you have a high probability trade looking at like 60, 70%, a good trade, you still have about 40 to 30% of the time that it's going to go against you. You said Beyond looks really good. Yeah, I know Beyond was looking good today. Didn't Disney actually recover, or did it start falling? Beyond has a perfect basic, I was gonna say P shape, but it's almost like a B. Because this volume node is so high here. But I think I would consider this a P day. You're almost, like I said, you're almost like a B though, because you have a gap, and then you have a secondary range. So it's almost like a B day. Where you have that volume node, gap, volume node. Lots of distribution though. Lots of distribution, which you'll typically see during P days or B days. You've tested your high of day like 3 times here. But look at this lower high, and it's almost like a head and shoulders. But it could also be, could be considered a, like ascending triangle. Which you're starting to break. Hey John, you said I saw you made videos on exocharts, haven't watched yet, but do you offer footprint charts on ES? Do they offer footprint charts on ES? No, they do not. They're only crypto right now. If they offered footprint on ES on like SPY, that would be fantastic. But sadly, no, they're only crypto right now. So I think Sierra Charts. I think Sierra Charts is the big footprint guy, as well as I believe NinjaTrader. Or don't quote me on that. I think NinjaTrader does as well, but Sierra Charts definitely has footprint on futures, I believe. Digital said, Kala and SSYS have killed it for me today. Moneybag. Oh, you were asking Moneybag if you were long Beyond. Moneybag said no. Looking for a short entry. Digital said if SSYS can get past 19.3, it will go to 22. Let me take a look. You're starting to break downward here on Beyond. Triple top. You're failing the ascending triangle. You're back below the POC. This could retest VWAP. It's following SPY. Is SPY starting to fall down? Yeah, SPY's starting to fail here. You're still in that high volume, high probability zone though. Like if you guys were looking at a textbook and you were looking for a balanced profile, there would be a picture of today. This is a near exact balanced profile day. You cannot get cleaner than this. So, like I said, if it starts to nuke here, you would probably miss out on this short because the volume profile auction theory tells you to long this. Let's take a look at SSYS real fast. Yeah, doing very well today. Climbing with VWAP. Yeah, you're still above the weekly open of last week. You're looking really good. You got earnings coming up, though. Be careful here. This is the weekly high. You broke above it and you failed below it. So if it can't reclaim this weekly high, looking a little bearish. Beyond coming into a lot of resistance. You have 2 weekly highs up here. 130 and 135. Same thing with Beyond. If you lost this weekly high here, it would look pretty bearish. Moneybag says, what does a P shape usually mean? It's like a bull flag setup. So a P shape is typically seen in a bull flag, and then a lowercase b is typically seen in a bear flag. That's why during a P shape, you typically want to buy the lows. You want to be very careful selling the highs because this can easily break out to the upside. And then a lowercase b, you want to be careful selling, or sorry, you want to be careful buying the lows, but you're okay to sell the highs because you could easily break downward. So this is like a B shape. You don't typically want to see a big gap like this in a P. So this would be more like an uppercase B, which is a pretty balanced day depending on where the price action is currently, or where that secondary range is. So the secondary range on this one is bullish because the secondary range is above the first range, but it's already starting to fail downward. So you're a little bit bearish and your target is that gap, right? You have that gap in between the two nodes. So that would be your target. Let me see. K-Toy said Market Delta are one of the big footprint platforms for futures, I think. Market Delta, I've never heard of them. Sneaky said, oh, SPY's getting frisky. He said, we aren't even at Fed window yet. Not yet. We've got about 3 minutes for the early window, and then you got about 23 for the next one. Or sorry, 13. John said, would you mind going over XAU USD? I can take a quick look at it. Oh, that's gold, yeah. I heard gold and silver was taking a beating today. Looks like normal distribution. I don't think it really... There's no directional bias right now. It's just a clean distribution right now. Yeah, there's no real bias here. You could lower this if you're doing a 4-hour distribution. You could grab the high here and then grab the low. Retest the high, retest the... sorry, that's the low. Retest the low here, deviation. Deviation. Retesting the 50. So I definitely say you're leaning bearish, but it's just a distribution, so there's no trend bias yet. So right now, the distribution tells you to buy the lows and sell the highs. But buying the low here is risky because you just failed the 50. So it's a little risky here. This buy the low would have been a lot safer. This one is going to be risky because you just failed the 50. Typically, you want it to retrace to the other side before buying. So like this would be a good buy because you retraced all the way completely from the other side. But if you did something like this, or sorry, oops, where you pop up and then you failed the 50 and then you come down, that's riskier. Because that's starting to put in a lower high. So I'd say right now, if you bought this low, you could have taken your first profit at the 50. You're still waiting for your second profit. I wouldn't buy this low. This low, it's a little risky. I'd probably wait for a better trade on the breakout or wait for more confirmation. Maybe a deviation. You could buy a deviation. I typically don't buy the retest if it's coming off of a failure. But this doesn't look that bad compared to what I've been seeing. Like, from what I saw on Twitter today, it sounded like gold and silver were dying. This doesn't look that bad at all. MD out of business? What do you mean, Clint? What's MD? Mednax? Not sure what this is. Hey, let's see. Twitter gasses everything up. Yeah, it does, Moneybag. John said, yeah, Sierra, Ninja, and IRT. Gotcha. And he was talking about the footprint charts. Turnup said, it looks like SPY is filling the gap. Let me take a look. So here, this is where you could have started to look for a short, but it's very, very risky. Because you failed your point of origin and then you retested it as resistance. So you could have looked for a short there. Like I said, extremely risky though. Why it's so risky is because today was so balanced that if you're looking for the high probability trade, you are still looking to buy the dips. That's why, like I said, before this started to happen, if it started to fail downward, you miss out on that short. But if you like the high risk scenarios, you could have shorted the retest here, which is so far playing out. So if you shorted that point of origin, you'd be okay for about 4 points already. Now, I wouldn't trade this at all because it's like the last 30 minutes of the day. I don't trade that. It's usually a lot of ridiculous price action that's very hard to predict. But you could have traded it. Let's see. John said, I bought the low earlier, up a little, and wondering about holding on. Yeah, so you're good to hold on, John, in that scenario. If you buy the low of the distribution and you're already in profit, you're fine to hold on there. It's just looking for that. If you're looking for a new entry on another buy the low, it's not the best entry. But if you're already entered, it's not terrible. Let's see. The volume on that looks funny. Yeah, you were talking about gold. It's because gold has it's a commodity, so it has different hours. John said on volume profile, the 50 mark is the outside edge of... On the volume profile, that 50 mark is outside the edge of value. Okay, so on the gold, I got you. On the distribution. Man said, seems like people buy on regular periods. Yeah, that you were talking about the gold hours. It has different hours. So the volume is pretty standard. John said, Trump says China may not uphold the trade deal. Oh, is that why the market's going down here? I'm telling you guys, we need to make a bot for Discord that's just literally a channel that relays us Trump tweets. Digital said, I have a very risky trade if anyone is interested. ACST, possible rise to $1 before May 20th. Not financial advice, just my opinion. Which is a ACST. I can take a look. Moneybag said GIS looks weak. 30-minute bear div. Yeah, this looks pretty bad. Yeah, B shape. See, so this would be a lowercase b, which is typically going to be seen in a bear flag. So on a bear flag, you want to be very careful buying the lows because it could wreck you at any moment, but you're safe to sell the highs. And this is very obvious because look at VWAP. VWAP is downtrending throughout the day, right? So all these little highs, you can take them and kind of use VWAP as like your trailing stop loss. Same thing with a P shape. If this was inverse, and this was a P shape, you're safe to buy the lows and use the VWAP as your trailing stop. But you want to be careful selling the highs because it could just break out and destroy you. You can still sell the highs. You just want to lower your size a little bit. You want to look for safer trades. What was the other one you said? ACST? Okay, so this is a big shit penny stock. It's a shitcoin penny stock. Nice accumulation, though. I see what you're talking about. I see what you're talking about. Couple of big pivots here. If you get above these pivots, you could be looking really good. You're losing momentum, though. This could be a bear trap. You're signaling a bear trap. If you start to break out here, this will be a bear trap consolidation. You can see how your trend on the Momo is very high. This is indicative of like a bull flag. So typically in a bull flag, you'll see your trend breaking out like a flagpole, and then it'll start to kind of form that bull flag. And then the Momo short term will show that consolidation, and then you'll trap those sellers. So all the sellers here will be trapped. So if this starts to break out here, that's what the Momo will look like, and it will be a bear trap. So remember that pattern. You'll see that quite often. Almost the exact same thing you saw right here, which was a little bit of a bull trap. So you look at the Momo, you have that failure downward. You have that kind of retrace where it gives you that flagging pattern. And then you see the short-term momentum pulling back towards the upside because you're getting that consolidation. And then once that consolidation fails and you begin your downtrend again, all of these buyers are trapped. So all the buyers here, or the people who took profit, they took profit too early, and the buyers are trapped. Okay? So look at how that looked on a price chart. It gapped down again, and you had that massive move down. So pay attention to that pattern. It's a very, very important pattern if you're trading the Momo. Yeah, turn-up said add Elon tweets. Yeah, Elon tweets and Trump tweets. So you see how you're finding support down here? That's why, like I said, you could have shorted that point of origin. You've actually could have got a nice trade out of it. You could have gotten about 6-7 points, which is about $300. Still very risky, though. So this balanced profile today was a pretty decent range. You had about a 14-point range today. That's about $700. So that's about $700 each way. So the Fed window is coming in 1 minute. You'll see a Fed window at 350 and then 355 if they want to start pumping the market. Typically with their... When the treasury repos are really high, that's typically when you'll see the massive pumps. Not a lot today, only 20 billion, 21 billion, 20 billion, not a lot. Most of it is mortgage backed. When you see very high treasury repos, that's typically when you'll see that that volatile price action towards the Fed windows. So there you go. Big sell-off there on the first window at 50. Recovering pretty quickly, though. The main window is the 355 one that I've noticed. That's when we'll typically see that 251,000 on the SPY come in. What are all the EMAs looking like? Yeah, very bearish here on the EMAs. So what would have been a good indication of this sell-off here is if you weren't looking at the volume profile, or even if you were, and you were looking to sell this failure, is like I told you guys earlier this week, last week, plenty of times before, is if you're like an EMA trader, that pattern, when you see the EMAs kind of cluster together, but then they start to fan out, and you kind of see that perfect distance between all of them, that's exceptionally bearish. And then you can also see that to the upside, it'll be exceptionally bullish, right? So when you see them start to fan out like that, that's a pretty damn strong indication that it's going to be bearish. You can see that cluster, and then when it starts to fail here, of course the EMAs are going to be a little late because they're moving averages. So it's going to be a little delayed. But if you saw this breakdown here, you could have been pretty certain that it was going to continue downward because of how the EMAs looked here. When they start to fan out like that, it's a very, very good pattern. Ichimoku was bearish as well. You also had the failure of the Kijun line. Kijun line, whatever, however you want to say it. You're riding the lower VWAP line currently. So when you exit that lower VWAP, you're typically a little extended. Hey, Jack. You back streaming? Yeah, I streamed this morning, then I streamed again this afternoon. We had a morning session, which we're going to do every Wednesday. So I'm going to do a morning session every Wednesday. Then we're going to come back and do the afternoon session. But I stream 3 p.m. Eastern 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So for the morning session, guys, we are doing giveaways for Webull. We're going over Webull's platform. We're looking for some day trades on penny stocks. I went over a lot of penny stock trading techniques this morning, so if you guys missed that stream, make sure to go back and watch it. I'm going to cut that stream up, make it a lot shorter, make it a lot easier to follow, and I'm going to post that video on YouTube in the next couple of days. What time in the AM? This morning I streamed at 10:30. So I typically want to stream closer to probably about 10. Today I was a little late. But next Wednesday I'll be back probably around 10. I'm not sure what you mean, Jack. Yeah, so John, it's 10 a.m. Eastern. Right when the market opens, basically. Market opens at 9:30. I stream at 10. Will said, do you know any platforms that allow access to volume profile data? I don't think TV or TrendSpider do. Allow access. Do you mean like API? Are you talking about like API data? If so, I have no idea. No, I don't. If you know a good coder, they could probably code it for you. But the problem is, to have reliable volume profile data, you need tick data. Excuse me. You need tick data. My throat's been dry as hell today. 2 streams is not helping. But yeah, so if you are trying to build like something automated or some kind of bot or just some kind of data aggregator, you need tick data to be reliable. And tick data is typically very expensive. Yeah, Jack, I always say Eastern. I let everybody know. At this point, pretty much everybody knows I'm an Eastern streamer. But yeah, I stream Eastern basically right when the market opens. Simple tactics. Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, so Will, if you're looking for API, I have no idea, man, to be honest. Like I said, you could try to get a coder to help you out, or if you're a coder, you could try it. The problem is you're not going to find tick data anywhere for free. The CME literally has like regulations in place that make it so all these data providers cannot give you CME tick data for free. They have to charge you a certain amount. They want their piece of the pie. Simple said, hey man, I just started trading today, just doing penny stocks to get the hang of things and just make small profits. I just had a stream earlier today. If you go to my YouTube, Deja Brew Trading, I just had a stream earlier today where I was giving out tips and tricks on penny stock trading. But also, if you're new to trading, go to my YouTube, Deja Brew Trading. I have a playlist called How to Trade, and there's tons of videos in there. I don't know how many we're at now. I think it's close to 20 videos. But I've got about 20 videos in there on different techniques that I use on my trading. I also have a free trading course. You don't have to give me your email, nothing. You can go to our website at oasistrading.io. There's about a 200 slide written examples, picture examples. It goes through the beginning stages of trading to more like advanced stuff. That's on the website. Tons of free content, man. Tons of videos on my YouTube. There's thousands of hours of streams. There's tons of hours of educational stuff. Free course on the website. Tons of stuff. Yeah. If you're looking for more of an exclusive community, we do have a paid Discord. It's $100 off right now. Use code MAY100 on the top right. And then we also have premium indicators. But you're brand new to trading, so I wouldn't even recommend looking at the indicators. Get used to trading for a little bit without like high level stuff like that. Get used to just reading candlestick charts. Get used to reading volume, all that stuff. Don't even bother with like exclusive paid indicators or anything like that. Hey man, don't sweat starting with small accounts. That's how I learned how to trade for the most part when I first started trading. I think growing small accounts, I know the word small is relative to however much money you have, but growing small accounts, I think, is the single best way to learn how to trade. I don't think there is anything else that's better than that. I think if you're trying to learn how to trade, growing small accounts is by far the best. What I typically tell people is like small, quote unquote small, because everything, like I said, is going to be relative, is about 1 or 2 weeks pay. So like whatever you make in about a week or two at your work, hopefully you have a job, obviously, hopefully you have steady income. Don't quit your job to trade. I don't ever recommend doing anything like that. But like 1 to 2 weeks pay is usually a good spot to start. Because it's enough money where you understand it's an entire week's worth of work. You know what you put into a week to make that money, or 2 weeks to make that money. So you understand how much money that is. So if you're not just going to go and lose it in one trade, right? Hopefully. And it's still enough money where you could start to build it. And then obviously, if you're doing very well, you can throw in another week. You can throw in another week. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I usually tell people is a good starter account, like 1 or 2 weeks pay. But obviously, make sure your debts are in order. Make sure you're not heavily in debt. You don't want to start trading if you've already amassed a bunch of debt, right? You want to make sure you're paid off on most of your stuff. The problem with most traders is they think they're just going to jump in with like $5,000, $10,000 and they're going to be able to make $5,000 to $10,000 in a month or two, right? It's just not that easy. That sucks to hear, Jack. Losing your trading account after having a big gain. That just happened to me, man. That happened to me in crypto. I was doing very, very well. We were making compounding gains month over month. We had multiple 20% months. We had a 40% month. We had a 200% month. We were doing fantastic. And then I lost basically half of my crypto holdings during that massive dump. So I lost a lot of money. A stupid amount of money. Simple said, yeah, man, hardest part for me is probably everybody is finding the right penny stocks, you know. I have a job. This is just something I want to learn to be able to be good at it and quit my job. Yeah, so what I tell people, I see my channel, you're new here, but you'll come to realize I try to be very honest and very realistic. A lot of other channels, they try to sell you a dream. I try to sell you the realism of trading, right? Like, I'm just trying to teach you guys the realness of trading. I'm not trying to sell a dream of making $1 million or quitting your job and becoming a full-time trader. That's all bullshit, man. I don't try to sell that to anybody. I tell people, I've said this multiple times on stream, you should not rely on trading as your sole income. If you want to become a full-time trader, you should have other sources of income. Maybe some side jobs, maybe an e-commerce site, maybe, I don't know, like tutoring or something, like something. You should have other sources of income. You should not rely solely on trading. If you rely solely on trading, it is very stressful and it makes your trading very emotional, right? I tried to do that a while back, and it just wasn't working out. I have multiple streams of revenue, right? I got my trading, I've got the website, I've got the group, I've got side jobs, I've got different contracts. I've got multiple streams of revenue. I've got YouTube. So it's easier for me to relax and trade what I need to trade, you know? All right, guys. Sorry, I was kind of caught up with chat. We missed the daily close. Nothing really crazy happened. Basically sold off, lost all of your gains in the midday. You had that gap up, start of the day, instantly failed the gap, ranged for the whole day, and then lost all of your gains. So it looks like you ended the day about 1% negative. Jack said, I lost it all by myself. That's basically trading 70% psychology, 25% risk management, 5% TA. Yeah, I think a lot of it's psychology for sure. You definitely need to have good risk management. You need a system. The technical analysis is not going to help you unless you know how to put that analysis into a system, right? And I've been showing you guys multiple systems throughout this stream, throughout the years we've been streaming, right? The past couple of weeks, we've been focusing very heavily on my volume profile system because you guys love my volume profile system. Or it's not really my volume, it's just the volume profile system. I didn't invent this, right? It's been around for a long time. If you guys are just finding my stream, I highly recommend going back and watching the last like 3 streams because I go over how to trade SPY on a 1-minute time frame, looking for day trades with volume profile. So I go over how to find the trades, where to look for targets, and not only that, it's not all hypothetical. I called out all of those targets before they happened in our Discord. So I show you guys that it's not bullshit. It's not all hindsight bullshit. The last like 2 to 3 streams, we did it every single day. So go back and watch those last couple of streams. It will give you a real understanding of how to read volume profile and how to kind of day trade, or just how to create a day trading system, right? But all right, guys, my throat's getting really dry. I'm probably going to end up the stream here in a couple minutes. You guys have any final questions or anything? Like I said, if you guys are new here, if you guys like the content, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitch as well. I have a ton of free content, thousands of hours of streams on YouTube. We have a whole playlist for people who are learning how to trade. on YouTube as well. We've got a free course on our website for the premium guys, for the guys who kind of already know what they're doing. You guys have already been trading for a while. If you're looking to expand your trading, we have premium indicators on our website. We also have a premium group on our website. The Momo right now is $10 off with code 10OFF. The Discord is currently $100 off with code May100. What else do we have? I'm doing the Webull giveaways, so if you guys are new, check out my Twitter. If you guys are a U.S. citizen, if you guys are looking to join another mobile trading app, I partnered up with Webull. I'm going to be giving away $50 every Wednesday to one person who deposits at least $100 into their Webull account using our referral link. And then we're also going to give away 30 days access to all of our indicators. And you're also going to get 2 free stocks as well. So check out the Twitter for that. I can give you guys a link real fast before we end the stream. Like I said, I'll be streaming tomorrow, guys. I do stream every day, Monday through, well, every weekday. Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. To let you guys compare that to your time, right now it is 4:06 Eastern. So I start streaming basically an hour earlier than what we are right now. Whatever time it is for you guys right now, 1 hour earlier, that's when I'm streaming tomorrow. So here's that link to the giveaway. If you guys want to enter, like I said, we'll be picking winners for the giveaway once every Wednesday. All you got to do is sign up with our link, deposit $100. You'll get 2 free stocks, 30 days access to indicators, and a chance to win another $50 on top of that. But all right, guys, that's all I got for you. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, I'll see you guys on Friday. You guys have a good rest of your week, rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.